Welcome to the Patrick Real Estate Show, where we explore the fascinating world of real estate investing with your host, Patrick Switek. Patrick is a dynamic young entrepreneur and an accomplished real estate investor who's passionate about helping others achieve financial freedom. Each week, we sit down with some of the most inspiring individuals in the real estate industry and delve into their personal journeys, lessons learned, and secrets to their success. Let's dive into this week's episode.
Billy Perez, welcome to the Patrick Real Estate Show. I'm so happy to have you here at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
People that don't know Billy is somebody that went from being a teacher and March 1st of 2024, quit his job and scaled his management company to 27 units. So really fast scale, really understood the game. He's an action taker in all forms. And I've had the pleasure of helping him in some facets during that journey. Of course, he's done a lot on his own, but I'm really excited to just have him in here and really talk shop on how he scaled so fast. A little bit more about his background. He's done a lot of other entrepreneurial things. One of those things is doing the vending machine business. So he's a little bit of insight on that. So he's just an entrepreneur at heart, but he's a host primarily. And I think he's going to give a really good insight on how he grew so fast. So without further ado, Billy, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much. I love those intros. I'm like, what else does he remember? What else has he got?
His social security number is not kidding. So Billy, man, tell us, how did it get started in this world? Like, what you became a teacher first? Walk through maybe your life story before that.
Yeah, I'll give you the little intro, the quick and easy to digest, or easy to hear. I was in college and I went to Point Loma Nazarene University after spending a few years at TCU. So I went to a big football school, did the Greek life thing, was really liking it, and then I realized I needed to get back to my roots, back to who I was. I'm a Southern California beach guy. I love being in the water, love being in the sun, and I missed my friends here in Southern California. I do love my Texas friends though. So I came back here, studied Spanish, and my whole idea was I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to do teaching for 25 years. I'm going to be a principal for 10 years, and I'm going to retire, live the sweet life, get a sweet pension. And in my mind, I was like, that's the path to wealth. That's the path to feeling good about life. And that's what I thought my goal was. And that's what I thought I was destined for. Just years of working, making $70,000 a year maybe, and just being okay with it and taking a vacation a year with your savings. And now I don't even buy flights with real money. The wealthy buy flights with points. And had you told me that 2 years ago that I wouldn't buy a flight with a real dollar for an entire 18-month period, which is where I'm at this point. I love telling people that. I'm like, I haven't bought a flight in a year and a half. I wouldn't have believed you. It's really cool to be here. You've been a huge help and been really encouraging. So it's awesome to come full circle and get to talk to you on your show. But I guess to answer your question, was a teacher for 4.5 years, got my master's in education. June 2023, I decided enough's enough. I'm going to pursue something else. I think when you go into teaching, you want to go in because you want to impact and change the world. But I think I realized after listening to just a couple podcasts from Bigger Pockets that there are ways to impact the world that require money, and those are the ways that I wanted to do it. I wanted to bless people. I wanted to buy properties that could bless people. I wanted to be able to influence and help people with wealth, which at the end of the day, money doesn't matter, but what's going to be more impactful, dropping off a box of muffins to the family that needs it or paying their car payment before they lost their car to the government, right? I don't know. The second option sounds a lot sweeter to me. So I want to be able to do things like that for friends, family, siblings, whatever it takes. And so I thought I had a job after quitting teaching. It didn't work out. So for about 4 months, I was like truly unemployed. But I had my properties that I owned. And so I had 3 properties that were Airbnbs that were cash flowing. They were cash flowing about $95,000 a year after all expenses between the 3 of them, which is a lot. So I felt like I had some kind of safety guard. But then people started approaching me in the fall of 2023. They were like, hey, about a year ago, I had 2 friends with Airbnbs that were doing great. And they were like, hey, we don't want to manage these anymore. could you help us out? And I'm like, oh, I never even thought about managing other people's Airbnbs, but that sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds like great. Is this a business? And then I started learning about people like you, Patrick. I'm like, wait, people will actually do what I did. They'll buy an Airbnb, they'll try it out themselves, and they'll leverage that experience to then go and manage other people's most expensive asset in their portfolio. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, because that's a lot of trust for just clicking some buttons and buying some software. So it's more than that, but some people think it's just that. And so I started with 2 in fall of 2023, and then nothing, right, for months. I got a desk job at a real estate company. They thought I was really impressive that I was managing 5 Airbnbs. So they gave me a desk job. It was like $4,000 a month. I was getting leads and signing clients for them, same as you, Patrick, for almost a year. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're giving me like a $600 bonus every client I get, but these guys are making like $5,000 a year off of these residential real estate clients. I'm like, I'm getting like this much of the pie, and then these are clients that could stay for 5-10 years. And I'm like, wow, like, why am I not? I'm doing all this. I was doing so much work to get these leads. I was like going on Facebook. I was like knocking on doors. I was like hanging real estate signs. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is such a waste of time. And so then March 1st, I gave my 2 weeks notice. A few weeks before that, March 1st, I started all my own. I started a company called Elevate Vacation Homes. I got 2 clients from our neighbors, just word of mouth. The neighbors gave me their homes to manage in Mission Beach, which is, if you know anything about the San Diego market, that's a huge client to get. Anything in Mission Beach is going to do 6 figures minimum, and if it's not, you're doing something wrong. So I got these 2 whales out of nowhere. Very fortunate, very lucky that my neighbors, they talked me up to their parents. So their parents own the properties, and their parents let me manage their properties. And so slowly but surely, I went and met people like you, Patrick, at Beers and Deals. I met Rich Sommers. I met a couple other people that were able to throw my name around. And it doesn't matter how much money I spent on Facebook ads. It doesn't matter how many videos I made. At the end of the day, what got me to 10 clients, then what got me to 15, was going up to people, shaking their hand, having no shame, and saying, here's my damn business card. I want you to take it. Even if you don't need me, just hold on to it, because somebody else might. And that's because nobody wants a business card. I don't want to take your business card. If you're in photography, if you're in marketing, don't give me it. I'm going to put it in my pocket. It's going to get washed, and it's going to get all soggy. These people probably thought the same thing, and it turned into clients, turned into leads. And so March 1st, I had 5 clients, 5 properties under management, 2 clients, 3 of them are mine, and then now I'm at 27 as of this week.
There you go.
That's the 5-minute spiel.
That's the 5. Yep. There you go, man. That's awesome. And so with that growth, man, you're so networking. Maybe talk through like how, obviously that's a huge jump. Talk through how, from a networking perspective, you were able to cultivate relationships so quickly and build credibility to allow people to really want to hand over a $5 million asset, $3 million asset, whatever the case. Curious, did you have a follow-up system? Like, how did that all work?
I really didn't have a follow-up system. You know me, man. I'm just getting my systems now. Patrick is mentoring me every week. I'm in his mastermind. So I'm just now getting like different employees working for me. I'm just now getting my systems in place. So no, I had no follow-up system. I had no way of even like writing them. I didn't even put these leads in a spreadsheet or anything. I just said, you know what? I'm going to trust that this is going to work out. Give them my business card. And if they call, I wasn't like, I think when you have a job and you're doing it on the side, you're not like super vulnerable. So once I officially launched it in March, then I think I was trying a little bit more. I was going to these events. No one was telling me to go to these events. Nobody told me like, hey, you're going to shake some hands and you're going to make deals just by going to real estate meetups. I think I always thought they were like vapid and everyone's just flexing on each other and trying to like one up one another. And can we cuss on this show? Can I like?
Yeah.
Can I get a little voice? Okay.
You absolutely.
I was gonna say it was a dick measuring contest. But that's what I always thought it would be, and in some ways it is. Like you meet some of these guys, and you're like, oh, this guy, I don't want to be this guy's friend. But for the most part, 99% of my interactions at these real estate meetups, whether it's through San Diego, whether it's through Rich, whether it's through whatever organization in San Diego, people have been fantastic, and they've been so willing to hear what you do. And then they're like, oh, I know a friend that has an Airbnb. I know someone that might need you. And I've just been really impressed by the real estate community. So no follow-ups, nothing like really systematic that I've been doing. It's just been shaking these hands, getting to know big players here in San Diego through luck and then through just being a normal person. I wouldn't call myself a super charismatic guy, but I had enough personality to get them to remember me. Being willing to just being open and just being, hey, how you doing? And sticking a hand out and just not being soft and not being afraid to get your name out there.
Yeah, that sounded very charismatic the way you said it.
Gotta do it.
No, but I couldn't agree more, man. No, that's actually when I first started the management. First of all, the management company that came across my desk was through networking. Like people are always asking me like, how did you go out there and did you like hit up a bunch of management companies and then you found this management company and then you finally took that deal down through a hunter mentality, right? Where I did outbound sales and it's not that at all. It was actually an inbound sales lead, I guess you can call it, where I actually met Amanda and David Fornelli, and they had short-term. I actually saw that they raised their hand on this like free LA event where I had like only one unit at the time, or maybe a few that were underway. And she raised her hand. She mentioned something about Joshua Tree, and I was like, I gotta talk to that girl. She's Joshua Tree. I'm Joshua Tree. Maybe we'll be able to collaborate. And I went over to her and we started chatting. And instead of being like, that's my competition, she's trying to find homes to renovate and turn into beautiful Airbnbs as well. Maybe I'm just going to freaking like, it's war. No, but I was like, you know what? Like, let's collaborate. You know, it's really hard to find contractors in this area. And it was like 2021 at the time. I was like, it's really hard to find contractors. And here, let's talk. And we shared resources. And 2 years later, I was looking for co-hosting clients, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just looking to manage people's properties." I just kept talking about it like you were doing, and she remembered me, and she was just like, "Patrick, like I don't have one client for you, but I have somebody that's selling a portfolio." And I was like, "Interesting, 15, okay, let's try this out." And then voila, like now we're at 100. Yeah, it's just those opportunities come about, and I feel like that method of shaking the hand and being charismatic is a really effective one.
Yeah.
So,
dude, totally.
Yeah, man. So great. So you did the whole networking thing. You shook hands, kissed babies. Now, tell me, when going to these networking events, how did you find out which networking events to go to? How did you know which ones to avoid? I'm curious, how did you just talk about it a lot? Did you just shake hands? Hey, I do Airbnb management. If you're looking for management, here's my card. And did you like go to every event that was real estate related, or did you find some key ones that really helped?
Honestly, Rich Sommer's team has been super effective and helpful for me. Like, it's so funny. That's why I really like him and like his group and what they're doing. And I've told him this. I'm like, dude, you call them employees, your team, your guys are amazing. It's a team of all, like, basically all gals and then Tommy. And they like, anytime they meet an Airbnb person and they know I'm there, they just come grab my shirt and they're like, go talk to that guy about Airbnbs. And I probably have 5 leads from Beers and Deals. And then 2 of those actually turned into clients just from and Andrea and Lauren and just people that are like listening to others and they're like pointing them out to me. So I've been super thankful for that. But then, I've gone to a couple stuff. I went to the San Diego Airbnb host like community gathering where they had a higher up from Airbnb come there and talk about the regulations that were coming. And so that was actually super interesting because you had a lot of old school hosts that were there that have owned their properties for 40 years, who do their own cleanings, who have no pricing software, who only are on Airbnb, and they're real old school. They're like my parents' age, and they're like, oh, we haven't hired a cleaner in 15 years. We've been managing our Airbnb in Mission Beach since 1988, and they're like real old school. And so am I going to convince Jerry and Kathy to hand over their 40-year-old Airbnb that they've been cash flowing on since 99? Probably not. But I met a couple of younger people in their 30s and 40s that were over it, and they had other stuff going on. And I told my wife, if you a tip to those who are trying to do networking and going out there, bring your partner with you, bring some arm candy, because a lot of men are in real estate, right? The majority, every event you go to is like 85% men. It's just the nature of the business. And if you bring your wife with you or your girlfriend, these guys are going to go talk to her. Whether their intentions are just to get to know her, or sometimes it's just easier to talk to a woman at these events instead of these big 6'5"
Well,
dudes,
to be
right?
honest, your wife is also like really easy to talk to.
Yeah.
She's a
She's-
psychologist
yeah.
background. Like she's just
Yeah.
a breath of fresh air, and she's got this great energy about her. So,
Oh, thanks,
yeah,
bro. Yeah. I know. She loved hanging out with you at the
yeah,
retreat the other week. Yeah,
yeah.
she saw a picture of us with the other guys from our group, and she was like, "Patty," calling you Patty. I'm like, he doesn't know you call him that. You can't call him that
You
yet.
can't call them that. That's illegal. No,
You got to ask permission. So yeah, these bringing your partner, just being able to put yourself out there has been helpful. So Kayla was handing out my business cards. I was meeting these people because I knew there was going to be someone there, right? There was probably like 200 Airbnb hosts and owners in this room. I'm like, this is a big room. Like whether it's not so impressive on the outside because you're meeting these people and I'm like, cleaning your own Airbnb. I'm like, you loser. But really, they're just these penny pinchers that own a $4 million house that they bought for 400 grand 30 years ago. And they don't care. They're like, we're retired. This was what keeps the joints moving, the blood flowing. Like they don't need me. But the people that needed me were the other entrepreneurs in the room that didn't know I was there. I was probably the only manager there. I was probably the only person there looking for leads. Everyone else there was looking for answers. I was looking for business. I was like, regulations, what? And then they made me realize, oh, there could be regulations. It could be very easy for these San Diego City Council members to say, you know what, I really want to get on the side of the majority, and the majority of people here don't own homes in this county, so let's ban Airbnbs, and then I'll get reelected and look like the good guy. That's the mentality that a lot of these city councilmen are having, which I didn't know. But I digress. We're not super worried about that over here in San Diego. They already passed legislation. There's already half as many Airbnbs as there was 2 years ago. So competition's just getting fiercer, and that's a good thing for operators here because if you have a good standing Airbnb, it's going to perform well as there's less supply.
Absolutely. It's not like Joshua Tree. You can build another incredible home on a plot of land because there's so much cheap land there. I get it. Yeah, it's different. But everyone's got their own little thing, right? Cool. So in that situation, great. So you meet these people. Once again, how do you establish credibility, though, to really allow them to be like, oh, yeah, here's my $4 million home.
Yes.
Billy.
Sorry, that was your original question.
No, it's all good.
I forgot about that part.
It's all good. Why would I give you my $4 million home, Billy? Tell me.
I really employ the strategy of fake it until you make it. And I'm sure as a younger guy like myself, Patrick, I'm only about a year older than you, I think, maybe 8 or 9 months. I think we established that last weekend. But I don't have a ton of age or experience to say, I've been doing real estate since 2008, right? Since the big crash, right? I was playing with Pokemon cards in 2008, right? So I don't have a ton of credibility. So I believe in the fake it till you make it. Go up to people confident. If you're shy around people, just forget about that. Pretend to be someone else. Say, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. I do flex the ownership card. I'm like, hey, I get it. I own an Airbnb or two. I understand. I have that relatability. This is what I want to do with your property. I'm making 6 figures in San Diego in an 800 square foot house. Do you want to do that too? Because it's very possible. And if you're not making 6 figures, let's talk on how I could do that. So fake it till you make it.
Case study as well.
Case study, yeah. Flex what you already have. Talk about what you've done and really make it sound like you know what you're doing because these people aren't going to trust you if you're like, I guess I could manage it or like I could try that out. That works with friends and family that are offering you to do this. But once you want this to be your full-time business, I went in, I was the best dressed one there, right? I went in there with my shirt tucked in, nice new shoes, and I was like, this is what I do. This is what I'm about. So fake it till you make it, flex what you've already done, and establish credibility one way or another. You don't need to lie, but just pretend like you've been doing this for years. Act like you've been doing this for years, and it'll show.
Yeah, it's the confidence. I do agree on that. Even like the thing is, when you take over a management company, you can leverage the portfolio from the management company. You can also leverage the experience of the management company. So I'm talking through the co-host company. It's like, yeah, the co-host company, like this company's been around since 2017. Like we know what we're doing.
Nice.
So we got to fake it till we make it in a way where it's, dude, we've been around in the high desert forever. We know what we're doing. But it's true because the management company is comprised of the same employees that were there five years ago. It's an entity, and that's the way I look at it. And it's like a separate entity from yourself. And if you do that, then you don't take things really that personally when people say no. I think that's a really hard thing is people struggle with saying no. It's, they're just saying no to the business. They're not saying no to you. And discern the two, and it makes it a lot easier to sell. But anyways, that's great. So, Billy, what have you done in terms of, okay, you got all these short-term rentals, like where are you at right now in your current journey? What are you working on? What are the big problems that you've seen as you've scaled really fast?
Yeah, I think the answer to this, but your listeners don't. I have 20 Airbnbs under management and then 7 like long-term, mid-term furnished clients. So I have a little bit of a blend, and I know some people will say, stick to one, stick to the other. But despite that, the best part about this month and what I'm very excited about Q4 right now is that I've hired my first employee. I've hired my first virtual assistant with Patrick's guidance and assistance, and I'm getting my systems in place. I'm meeting with my operations manager at 10:30, and we're going to talk about accounting, and we're going to get it dialed so that every client is on the same accounting structure. We have 4 different systems right now for accounting, so it's a mess. We're getting those systems in place is super important because 27 properties is one thing, but it's a very different company when it's 50, right? It's very different.
Well, also the fact that, Billy, when you came to my conference, you were doing, like, you were stepping away from the sessions because you had to take calls, because you're the one that's doing guest communication, right? What were you doing before? You were doing guest communication, you're doing sales, you were doing listing optimization, revenue management, all of it, right? It was a one-man show?
It's a one-man show until about 3 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, less. 10 days ago. I had my virtual assistant for 13 days now.
Wow.
So that's been a huge breath of fresh air. I'll get these notifications, and I'm sure you've seen this, Patrick, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I don't have to answer these anymore.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell them about early check-in or how to collect those funds. Harry's got it. He's got my links. He's got my access to my account. He can do it, which is really cool. It's a breath of fresh air. It's allowed me to do things like this. It's allowed me to focus on owners and growing the business. It's allowed me to focus on training my operations manager. It's allowed me to focus on acquisitions and growing the company, not just one contract at a time, but talking to owners of dozens of contracts and working on my business and turning it from a solopreneur business to a company. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Buying back my time has been huge.
And I think that's your genius zone. I will say, I think one of your best attributes is really the fact that you're able to just take action. And you're like a dream. I think that's what it is. You're dream teachers, like, have that dream student. You're that dream student. Like, you're that guy. Because you're like, oh, this is what we should do. Cool. It's like tomorrow, it's already getting done. And right now, it's like, as you're writing notes, you're like texting somebody, okay, this is what we got to do. I feel like you take action really quickly and you figure it out as you go. I think that is something that most people don't do. People overanalyze shit. People just don't take action, and they find every excuse not to take action. And then you just take action, even if it's imperfect action. It's a step forward always, and it's always pushing you above everybody else because you're willing to take that step. And I think, being in that zone of genius where that's like the best thing, right, is to allow you to continue doing that and continue to put yourself out there. And I think that shows with your newest escrow, if you want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. I just want to address that, dude.
But it's going to happen one day, but this is the first of many.
Totally. I appreciate all those things you're saying, man. Thank you. And I think it was when you approached me at your conference that you had invited me to. I'd never met you in person, and then you saw exactly what I needed to do, right? You saw me messaging, you're like, show me your Airbnb account, and I'm scrolling through all my listings, and you're like, you're doing this by yourself? And I'm like, I don't trust anyone else. I sold these clients on me, so why would I pass off the work to someone else? And you're like, it's not about that. It's about being willing to grow and being willing to buy your time back because you paid money for this conference, and you're sitting out here at 5:30 p.m. worrying about XYZs. Yeah, I appreciate you seeing that and seeing the potential in me because, when was your conference? Was that in September? No,
that was in July.
That was in July. Yeah, a lot has changed since July.
In October. So
yeah. So you helped me change the trajectory of my business, and that's just goes back to the theme of meeting the right people and meeting people who are willing to tell you that. Maybe in a year, I'm gonna meet some guy who has 15 listings and they're doing it by themselves. I'm like, wake the fuck up and know that your time is more valuable than sitting messaging Susie at 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. What are you doing?
This is like the Matrix. It's like, dude, you got to get out of it, man.
Yeah. So, and in your you make a good point where I just go for things. And that's, I'm the visionary. If you want to look at Rocket Fuel, the book you told me to read, and, I'm the visionary. I need my integrator. I got my integrator. I believe so. And it's there. I have a lot of friends that have said that, Billy, you just go for it. What the hell? What is wrong with you? You don't even how long did you analyze this deal for? What are you talking about? And like different people in the community are like, you've signed contracts without seeing the property. I'm like, I saw the pictures. They're good enough. And so there's certain things that I should do more of, and I should do more due diligence, and I'm learning that. But I also have a lot of friends that have been on the sidelines since the beginning of my real estate journey, and they've got $250,000 in cash saved up, and they haven't done a damn thing about it. And they know who they are, and I've called them out for it multiple times. I'm like, hey, bro, what are you doing? You have enough money for a down payment. Hey, you could buy this house cash and start cash flowing for the rest of your life. What are you doing? And it's scary. Why would you spend all this cash on a real estate investment? It could burn down, right? I have friends, they're the high income earning, low net worth friends, right? We all have them. They got the cushy job at some software sales company. They're making $250 a year. They got a nice apartment. Their wife works too. They don't have any assets. They're really even too afraid to sometimes invest in stocks and stuff. So if you got your high income low net worth friends, and then you got your low income, high net worth friends, right? And I'd rather be with those guys because those guys took risks. I'm one of those guys. I'm the low income. I got the low cash. I got no cash reserves, but I got the high assets. I got a lot of assets to lean on if I need that cash. But I'm okay with that, right? I don't want to be in a space where if I have $200,000 in cash, Patrick, slap me because I need to put that money one day, hopefully.
Hopefully that didn't hurt anybody's ears. I just did that right in front of the audio. Sorry about that, guys. But no, that's nuts 100%. I think, yeah, I'm 100% there. And I think because of you taking those moves, I told you about buying management companies. I told you how that can scale your portfolio really quickly. And you found some management company on, I don't know, Crexy, I think. Not Crexy. Oh, sorry. Buy, sell. Yeah. And you're in escrow now.
Yeah.
So talk us a little bit about how that came about.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a possibility. When you talked to me about it, you're like, hey, you should join my group. We talk about how to buy Airbnb management companies or vacation rental management companies. And I'm like, what? People just sell those? That's crazy. I thought you just do them forever. And then you opened my mind to scaling and selling and cashing out. I didn't even think about that. I'm like, in my head, even in July, I was like, no, you grow your management company until it's a company and you hold it. That's your baby, right? You never sell that. Yeah, so we're in escrow in a company in Lake Arrowhead, Big Bear area. It's going to be, right now they're managing 30 properties with 6 more contracts on the way, so 36 total. Either they're at 27 with 9 on the way, or they just started 3. They're starting 3 more on November 1st, so I believe it's 30 properties with 6 more on the way. They're selling it based off of what they've done the last 12 months or last couple years, so the income that is going to be great. It's going to be really good. We're in escrow. They've accepted our offer. And so we're just waiting for the sellers to provide some more solid tax docs and more solid sales and P&L and stuff like that so that the SBA can fully fund the loan. But the SBA pre-approved us. It says it looks good. And there's a lot of really good things about it. There's some good potential, and I'm excited to possibly do this acquisition. We're looking forward to it. We did run into a problem yesterday, which maybe we could talk about, like the idea of you can't have your cake and eat it too, something like that, that expression, where this company has great, right, they're a little like, they call it a CIM, their like presentation for the business looks great. They're like, we did 100 and something in profit last year, and this is what we did the year before. But then they sent us their tax returns, and their tax returns are really tiny. So now our SBA officers like, they can't tell people they're doing 6 figures in profit, and then they can't report to the government only this much in cash flow. You can't, right? That's the expression. You can't have it one way and then want to sell it this way. You have to have had presented the company as very profitable to the government and then sold it so that it could get funded. There's a whole other issue now that I didn't even know about. I didn't even think about that. Like your last year or two of your business, you better stop writing off the candy bars you're buying at the gas station because you need every dollar you can on the books, according to Uncle Sam, so that when you sell this thing, somebody can get it funded and fully,
It's also going off of a bit instead of earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So there might be some things in there. We can look at it. So, yeah, that's not the worst issue. I think a lot SBA officers always have like something they want to ask about. They're super stingent. It's just about talking them through that. But anyways, that's yeah. I mean, you did this deal, but that's the crazy thing that I think I want the audience to know is like I told you about it, and you just went after it. And it's I told you about it, and then 2 weeks later, you're like, dude, I'm under escrow. I'm like, what the heck? This is
I
crazy.
think I submitted my first offer like a few weeks later, yeah. But I just went in escrow like 2 weeks ago.
Or you submitted your first offer.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, you didn't even bring this deal to. You didn't go, oh, I might need to analyze this with you. You're just like, yep, I submitted the offer. I think this is a good deal. But it's
you were like, shouldn't we look at it first?
Yeah, and we looked at it afterwards. Okay, it can make sense here. But it's nice because that's a superpower. I think everyone should know their superpower, and I think that's your genius zone. Is making deals happen. It's making deals happen. It's going out there shaking hands. Like that's what you're good at, and that's why you hired an operation manager to really take on the other role, which was to everything else. Which is when you're at a conference, you should be learning and shaking hands and talking to people. And when you're at an event, you should not be responding to guest messages. You should be talking to people and having those conversations because that's really where your growth is going to be because you're a visionary. At the end of the day, you got to be in the visionary spot. And yeah, this operation hire is a really interesting hire.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. And plus the VA, of course, like VAs are so important. The logic is usually, hey guys, after you get to 5 properties, that's really when you should start looking at a VA. And here's Billy with freaking 27 properties, being basically responding to guest messages, doing everything. I was like, dude, after 5, 6 properties, I was over it. I needed a VA ASAP. And you're over here sitting doing 27 without a VA. That's why it shocked me, honestly. But hey, that takes time as well to grow and develop, to eventually learn to trust people. There's another book called E-Myth. It's all about the solopreneur, why most entrepreneurs will never be what they could be because they are really good at the one thing. Let's say an accountant leaves an accounting job and decides, okay, I'm going to be my own accounting firm, but they never know how to hire anybody for everything. So they're doing admin work, they're doing sales, they're doing the service side, they're doing it all. And it's hard because they just know the the service side really well. Is that book, is that whole mentality there. So most people are solopreneurs, really, and it sucks. You're working 60 hours a week and you're doing everything yourself. It's like the hosts that are cleaning their homes for themselves, like this kind of that mentality, the old school mentality. You're past that, which is really good. So, Billy, what's next for you, man? What's really exciting you moving forward in what you're doing and what you're growing?
Grow the business more, obviously, acquire 1 or 2 co-hosting management companies in the next year. My partner that I leveled up with, he came to me. He has the equity and the cash. He's, hey, I want to help you grow something. If it's any encouragement to the listeners, find a partner with some money who wants to partner with you and grow this business with you, because that's something that I didn't believe in until about a month ago, or not necessarily believe in, but didn't know was possible. And so finding a partner to level up with has been huge. So me and him are going to buy 1 or 2 more this year. We'd like to do as many deals as possible. So grow to 100 by the beginning of summer 2025, I want to be at 100. That's my goal. So what is that, 7 months from now? I want to continue to grow that business and, be able to trust others and delegate. After a couple of years, Patrick, maybe sell the company. We'll grow the vending machine business on the side. I'd like to do some coaching still. I really do love.
Hold on. Let's talk about the vending machine business. I don't think we even touched on that. Vending machine business, was that before short-term rentals or after?
Before the management company. So about 2 years ago, I launched that.
So you didn't necessarily get into short-term rentals first. You got into vending machines. Dang.
Well, I had my short-term rentals already, and then I got the vending machines because I got.
How did you find the vending machine?
Biz buy sell, baby. I swear that's my go-to. I don't know what about it. I really like it.
That's awesome. That's where you found the management company. That's also where you found the vending machine routes.
Yeah, that company's gonna make me rich. That website's gonna make me rich.
Oh, roughly.
Kidding. But I found these 2. He called them high income earning luxury smart coolers. He didn't even call them vending machines. And I was like, this sounds cool. And I reached out to this guy. He was using a fake name because he didn't want people finding him. And then I got to know him. And out of the 15 people that reached out to him when he met with me, he was like, hey, man, I'm going to go with you because you're the only person who would listen to me and weren't just fucking around asking about numbers the whole time. Because he met with a bunch of different entrepreneurs, different guys. I was the only one who was like, I'm a teacher and I want to learn this from you. Show me everything you can. He's like, oh, you're the only one who wasn't just asking for the keys, who wasn't just ready to go.
Ever heard of ask for advice, get money?
No. Is that a book?
No, it's in venture capital. What they'll do is people will, like, a lot of times ask for money. So they'll be like, oh, like, I want money to fund my company. And a lot of times when you ask for money, you get advice. When you ask for advice, you'll get money. So when you ask for money, people usually say, okay, here's some advice on how you can actually make your company better. Because usually you're asking for money, you're not ready for it. When you ask for advice, you actually have the right mentality. It's the mentality of, I want to learn and grow into this. And so you get money. So in this case, you asked for advice and everyone asked for money. And so everyone else got advice and then you got money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah, exactly. So I was the only one who's willing to humble myself and not try and just tell him like, hey, give me the business. I'm ready. So he sold me the business, these two machines that indeed they're doing like 18,000 a year in profit. And then I got them to about 22,000 in profit because I was giving them solopreneur my attention, right? He had 60 other machines he was dealing with. So he even sold it that way too. He's like, you could focus on this and make more money than I am. So I was able to grow it. I'm now at 5 machines, which is cool. So in about a year and a half, it went from 2 to 5. And I like it. There couldn't be a vending machine podcast because there's really not much to talk about unless you want to talk about like the business and acquisition and grow. It is a boring business, but sometimes those boring businesses make money, like car washes and laundromats and bless you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I don't know that.
No, you're good. My vending machine business cash flow is like $35,000 a year, and I don't do anything for it now. I hired a guy. I pay him probably $700 or $800 a month because it's not that much work. It's 10 hours a week, so he's crushing it. Yeah, he's just restocking. He's going to Costco. I think I pay him $20 an hour, so more than that. But even with the employee expense, like I bought back a lot of my time, and it still cash flows a lot because it's these high net worth buildings that they're stocked in. So I have these machines, these $7,000-$8,000 machines sitting across the street from Petco Park where the Padres play, and you have tenants that are paying $5,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. And so they're like, yeah, I'll pay $5 for a Celsius. I'll pay $3 for a Snickers because they don't want to walk across the street to 7-Eleven, across the field of homeless people that are down there in East Village. They want to go to my machine and grab something quick. So there's a huge market for it. If your vending machine's in the right spot, it's going to do well. I would say a good vending machine cash flows more than $500 or $600 a month. I have 2 machines that cash flow more than $1,000 a month. I have 2 others that do about $400 or $500, and then my last one doesn't really do much. So I'm going to get rid of that one. But it's a great, boring business. It makes its money, and it's easy. And I have a little bit of insurance covering my butt in case someone like chokes and dies on something, which is good. So I have my bases covered, contracts in place. Yeah, liability. Nice.
Also, so being younger, I think that also begs the whole idea, and I think we were at that conference, Jerry Norton was talking about this, and I like the way he explained it, is idea of fast money and slow money. Real estate, a lot of times people think you can make quick money in real estate. Quick money in real estate, you can, but buying a long-term rental or even a short-term rental is a little bit slow money. It takes time and years before you really get the full payout of the appreciation, the equity build, buy down, the tax benefits, all that kind of stuff. It's a longer play versus buying a business where you have a lot of active capital. Like, I think a lot of times people our age need active capital, and the fact that you go on buying businesses is actually an incredible way to do that. And so for me, it's management companies. I like buying management companies. I love scaling quickly there. But for you, it seemed even just a vending machine business was active capital is $22,000 a year versus making, I don't know, you could make, it depends on the asset, but you could make $100 to $200 a month in a long-term rental, and you're doing $600, $700 a month, and it's more passive. So I definitely see the idea of being more actively involved when you're younger to get cash flow, because cash flow is the most important thing. And the cool thing about business versus W-2 job, like your friends making $250,000 a year, is you can actually build equity and build value in that business and eventually sell it. So and tax benefits. You can take write-offs against the business.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There you have it. I love that, man. So Billy, let me take you to the last 3 questions here, and we'll close this up real quick. So first one, what educational resource do you think has been instrumental to your growth? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be real estate related.
Like a resource like YouTube, podcasts, stuff like that.
Podcast, YouTube, book.
Yeah. Podcasts are a great start because it's easy to digest, easy to do while you're doing stuff like working out or driving. The best way to level up is to hire mentors and to being willing to humble yourself and say, I don't know everything, and I'm willing to pay a couple $1,000s to learn from people that have done more than me. So,
got it. Any podcasts you'd recommend?
If you can look up specific topics and through Bigger Pockets, and they have like really good ones from years ago that got me started on the journey. So they have a library of podcasts. They've been around for so long that you could literally look up anything and they have it. I'd recommend starting there. There's some great stuff out there though for other podcast guys. It just depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for really niche, you can go to short-term rental stuff. If you're looking for broader stuff, I think Bigger Pockets has a lot of broad topics. And so it really just depends what you're looking for.
Cool. Special question for you. So let's say somebody came to you with an offer to say, hey, listen, I have this great idea for vending machine business, and it's going to go throughout the whole San Diego. You're going to own 100% biggest market share of San Diego vending machines, but you have to drop what you're doing with co-hosting, and you'd have to pick one or the other. What direction would you go in and why?
I think for now I'm going to stick with co-hosting and management of vacation rentals because each of those clients is so much higher ticket income, makes more money than the vending machine client. So I say for now, stick with that. But I think as I get older, maybe I don't really want to sell the vending machine business. I want that to just slowly grow. And like when I'm 40, I just have 35 machines that do $400K a year. And I think that's way cooler to say that. I don't do anything and this is how much it makes. It's true passive income because real estate and management is not passive. So I think for now, I'd choose the vacation rental management. But yeah, maybe in a couple of years, I'll have changed my mind after dealing with all the BS that you deal with owners and clients and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And then last question, where can people find you? Let's say somebody had a really enlightening thing, you really inspired somebody. How can somebody reach out to you?
I use my Instagram the most for all my socials, and then all my links are in my bio at billy.elevate. Billy Elevate.
Awesome, man. And thanks for coming on the show, dude. You crushed it. Thank you for sharing all the knowledge. And yeah, man, I just wish the best for you. I'm excited to see where you go. And this is only the beginning, man. We're just getting started.
Just getting warmed up. Yeah, bro, I appreciate your time, man. And I'm going to see you a lot today. We got 2 more hours of screen time together, at least.
Yeah, let's get it.
Sweet, bro. We'll talk soon, man.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to the Patrick Real Estate Show. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a follow and leave us a 5-star review. Your support truly means a lot. And connect with Patrick in the show notes below. Until next time.